Was there like school uniforms or
No, it was a regular public school.
okay? And what kind of supplies? Just regular pencil, paper, or
Nothing special.
okay. And did the cafeteria serve food, or did you have to go get your food from your house?
That's a good question. I'm pretty sure I brought a peanut butter and jelly sandwich every day.
That's what Alex does.
He literally every day. Peanut butter jelly. P.
I think maybe the only thing you could get in school would be like a little carton of milk or something like that. And this was still during the Depression, so my parents had no money. So getting 10 or 15 cents was not so easy to do.
What kind of security was in school? Was there? It's just. What kind of parents? What kind of jobs did your parents have?
When I was growing up, my father worked in a bank as a loan officer. And then my mother was, before I was born, she worked in the office of the mayor of New York.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
Fiorello LaGuardia. You'll find that in
Yeah, it's in the history of New York thing that
Right.
Dad has.
Right. And she was one of the secretaries in his office.
Okay. Cool.
And then, years later, when I went to college, my mother went back to work, and she worked for a rabbi. And my mother was a very devout Catholic, but she ended up working for quite a well-known rabbi who had written a number of books.
Okay, that's cool. What kind of jobs were there for for a 10-year-old? What would you do?
Let's see.
Mow lawns or
One of the first jobs I had was taking care of the baseball field.
So you'd rake it?
Yeah, I would do all the raking. And then when I got a little older, I got a terrible job of having to paint the metal fence silver. And it got all over me. And then when I was when I was 17, I drove a fire truck.
You could drive?
An old fire truck that was loaded with, what do they call them? Indian tanks. And in the Indian tanks was ragweed spray.
Oh, so weed killer.
Weed killer, yeah. Because in those days when there was a lot of construction of new houses, then the ragweed would spring up.
Then you go drive over the fire truck.
Yep, you get off the truck and you have the tank on your back and you go spray the ragweed.
Okay. Was there a minimum wage, or did they just give you?
Oh boy, I don't remember, but it was like $1.50 or something like that. You could look that up. Maybe one didn't. Oh, there was a minimum wage, I think, but I'm not sure.
Is there any difference between what kind of job prospects would you get would a woman get versus a boy?
Out of college?
Out of college, yeah.
Or high school?
Well, in those days, women were mostly the careers that were available to them were nursing and teaching, primarily.
Yeah. Okay, so so you walk to school, and so do people walk or ride the bus or use public transportation more?
There was almost no public transportation where I was.
Okay, and I guess you wouldn't know how much it would cost, but how did your parents get to school? Not school, to work. How did your parents get to work?
My father took the train,
Okay.
and when my mother worked, she drove. But that wasn't until I was
20?
17 or 18 years old, yeah.
Okay, and now we're talking about how relationships between children and adults. What time would your parents make you go to bed?
When I was young, when I was like 11 or 12 years old, I
Yeah.
had to go to bed by 8 o'clock.
Okay. And what kind of chores do you have to do?
Excuse me.
Around the house, you mean?
Yeah.
I had to take care of the lawn, I had to cut the lawn, you know, bring the garbages
Dishes.
out, clean the kitchen.
Garbage. Okay. And what was considered as like a really good or perfect child back then?
I had no idea.
What was considered immature or childlike back then?
I assume the same things that it
Oh yeah.
are today. I don't know any difference.
Yeah, yeah. What are like basic rules around the house, or like curfew, or, like when your bedtime, and like rules about touching stuff and other things?
I'm not sure. I mean, you had to clean up your own mess. You made your own bed. You, if your mother or father asked you to do something, you did it. Nothing special.
Okay. What kind of stuff do you do for fun? And
I
school.
played ice hockey.
Oh, that's fun.
I played baseball. Played football.
He's the captain of the football team.
Played soccer.
Wow, you did a lot of stuff. Okay, and I'm guessing you didn't get allowance.
It's more than we got there.
I don't think I did. No.
Yeah, and back then, how would boys treat girls? And
With respect.
Was that a hit or was that it looked like he tried to kiss you?
and
Get you before
was there any girls on the sports team?
That's a good question. Even in high school, I'm trying to remember.
I would think no.
There was no girls basketball. I don't think there was even girls soccer, but
No women's teams
I can't remember.
or
I don't think they were.
yeah, much different now. But
I could actually look it up in my yearbook.
Do you have your yearbook?
Mhm.
Oh, maybe that would be fun to look at more.
yeah, after the interview, that would be cool. How many kids were in the family? How
I
many?
just had one brother,
Oh,
5 years younger.
Oh, look at that. Just like you and Alex.
Okay. Let's see. What was the situation about like same-sex couples?
There was nobody knew anything about same-sex couples
There really
where I
wasn't.
was.
No, it wasn't really a problem, and nobody cared about it.
Nobody knew about it.
Oh, okay. And who was the president at the time? When you were in like 12 or 11.
Well, when I was up until the age of 5 or 6, it was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Then it was Harry Truman, and then it was Dwight Eisenhower.
Franklin D. Roosevelt.
FDR.
FDR. Okay. And then who was it after
Truman.
Truman. I have no idea. Okay.
Eisenhower.
Okay, so do you have like an opinion on Hitler? Or like, did you really hate him, or?
I just knew what I was told, that he was the evil leader of the armies that were fighting against our country and our allies.
Okay. And what was the minimum voting age at?
21.
21?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Really? When did they lower it?
I think
And the drinking age was 18, and then they switched. I don't know.
Or smoking. Never really
when
cared
did they
about
lower the voting age?
Hmm.
Must have been associated with some period of war, so it probably was Vietnam.
Okay.
How did you feel? How did you feel about the war? And were all young men expected to enlist inside the battle? And
I'm not sure I understand your
I
question.
mean, were all young males? Not like you, because you were
5 years old.
5 years old. But was all the like, if you're a teenager, were you expected to apply for war, apply for the army?
Were you expected to? It depends on by whom you mean, but
Like,
a substantial majority of everybody signed up. All my uncles were in the war. I
were
even-
them killed in combat? Or?
No, I didn't have any of my uncles killed in combat.
Okay. Well,
But you were expected to enlist.
okay.
It was a different time.
So can I ask Pop Up some questions too?
Yeah.
So on where were you when, like, everybody has a memory of like where you were at moments in time. Where were you
During Pearl Harbor.
during Pearl Harbor?
In Pearl Harbor.
He was 3.
Oh, you don't remember the
I was-
D-Day.
D-Day 1945. I was
Yep.
6.
Did it have any impression on you?
Not really.
I just knew that everybody was blowing their horns and riding around in cars, and somebody said the war was over.
What about when they dropped the bomb in Hiroshima?
I don't think that even registered with me.
And then after the fact, like when you were studying this in school,
Mm-hmm.
did it register with you then? Any of these events?
Dropping the bombs on
Or
Nagasaki and
yeah,
Hiroshima.
yeah.
Yeah, I was never of the school that we should have invaded. I think that was, as terrible as it was the better alternative.
Go ahead.
When did the war stop in Europe?
Which war?
World War II.
In Europe it stopped before the Japanese surrendered, so it was like, I believe, May
19.
May of 1945.
Oh, okay. It's cool. Okay.
Any other questions, Mark?
Nope, not really.
You
All
want to
right.
see the yearbook?
Yes.
That would be
that'd
fun.
cool.
All right. Thanks, Pop Up.
Welcome.